What's good, YouTube? It is your boy Big Cool coming to you from Colossal Sports TV. And I am back with another video. The rundown. First up, Gary Russell versus Kiko Martinez is in play for April 27th. I'll post a link from 3kingsboxing.com down in the description box below so you all can check it out for yourself. But let's talk about it. Gary Russell is a guy who's extremely talented, but also extremely inactive. But he has promised to change that this year with hopes and expectations of a high stakes showdown featherweight unification bout between himself and the WBA featherweight champion Leo Santa Cruz. But first, he and his team is looking at facing former super bantamweight champion Kiko Martinez. Kiko Martinez held that IBF title almost a year. Kiko Martinez is a very experienced fighter. He's been in the ring with Carl Frampton twice, Scott Quigg, Leo Santa Cruz, just to name a few. Also Josh Warrington. You know, he's 37 and 8. Like I said, he's a very experienced fighter, quality fighter. Even though this is a head scratching fight, I get it. I get it because it's a fight that's just good enough to, be somewhat competitive or challenging, but nothing that'll risk a big money fight for Gary Russell Jr. and Leo Santa Cruz, who have been linked to each other for a while now. Both guys have expressed interest in fighting each other. Leo Santa Cruz has just recently warmed up to the idea. He lost to Gary Russell Jr. in the amateurs way back, and he wants to exact revenge on his featherweight counterpart. But a lot of people feel that fight, if it happens, it has the chance to be a tremendous battle of skills versus will and pressure. Leo Santa Cruz has a very, very fan-friendly fight style, very entertaining. He throws punches and bunches, has excellent stamina, excellent punch output. Gary Russell, on the other hand, is a counter-punch aficionado, probably the fastest hands in the sport of boxing, has some underrated power. He has a good boxing IQ, and he's just one of those guys who very confident, very self-aware of who he is, and it'll be good to see him fight more than once a year because this guy is ultra talented, and for him to be fighting once a year is only doing a disservice to himself, not anybody else. But if he can get Leo Santa Cruz in the ring, that'll be an excellent fight, because that's what it's all about, the best fighting the best. Leo Santa Cruz is coming off of a victory against Rafael Rivera, where he won a unanimous decision in February. And it's expected that, if Gary Russell goes through with this fight against Kiko Martinez, we could see these two men meet up later in the summer, early fall, in a fight that will surely have the attention of not only the hardcore boxing fan, but the casual fight fan as well. Because anytime you have a Mexican fighter involved, his people show out and show up, or show up and show out, excuse me, and full out support. You seen this weekend's fight between Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia. Although it was very one-sided, it wasn't for a lack of support for Mikey, who had the crowd going nuts and had them really believing that he can pull an upset. Obviously, that didn't happen, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. Hispanics, Mexican people, they come and support their own like none other, and this won't be any different. Next up, Garcia, Mikey that is, says he would love Lomachenko, but he's not sure of a 135-pound return. This is what Mikey Garcia had to say. I would love a fight with Lomachenko, but I haven't made a decision to come down to 135 just yet. I don't know what I'm going to do. Let me sit back with my brother later and my dad, and we'll figure out what division I'm going to come down. And maybe I stay at 147. Maybe I come down to 35. But at 35, that's the most interesting fight with Lomachenko, and I would love to take on that fight. He also went on to say, look, even though I moved up in weight, I never ballooned up too heavy. I never got too big with muscle mass or anything like that. We just added a little bit of muscle mass so that I could be at welterweight for this fight. But even weighing at hold on. But even weighing in, I was 45 and a half pounds. 145 and a half pounds. I wasn't a big welterweight. I feel I could come back down to the lower divisions and perform great. I don't know. I don't think it would affect me. I don't think it would affect me if I decide to come down to the lower weight class. I could perform just as effective. So we all know everybody has been craving a fight between Vasyl Lomachenko and Mikey Garcia. The best fighters at 135, hands down, is not close whatsoever. Both guys have talked up a potential bout with each other. So far, nothing has yet to materialize. Obviously, Mikey Garcia has a plethora of options. He can remain at 147 to face guys like Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Manny Pacquiao, Adrian Broner, who are bigger men, but not as big as Errol Spence or Keith Thurman, compared to the guys I just named. So he has big money fights there as well. He also can drop down to 140, where you got Regis Prograis, Josh Taylor, Ivan Bartonek, Kiro Rillick, guys that's participating in the WBS World Boxing Super Series tournament, but will likely be freed up later this year, early next year. So he has a plethora of options, but the big one we want to see him in is against Vasily Lomachenko, the 3-division world champion. Mikey is a 4-division world champion. These guys are extremely gifted, extremely talented, and I think that this will be a great fight. Mikey displayed a lot of heart, a lot of determination in his fight with Errol Spence. He went all 12 rounds, although he's not in it for moral victories. You got to give him a salute for that, because nobody expected him. Well, I ain't going to say nobody. I didn't expect him to go all 12 rounds. I thought that Errol Spence would turn up the pressure and look to stop him, but obviously Errol Spence had different things in mind. He wanted to display his skills, that he can box, that he can stay disciplined, and that he can just, work his way through a fight without pure, brute strength and pressure. And that is exactly what he did. But the future looks bright for Mikey Garcia. It really does. He has nothing to be ashamed about, because when you're going up there as a great little man and you fighting a good big man, that's what happened 9 times out of 10. And he tried, he failed, but like I said, he has a whole bunch of options that he can choose from, big money opportunities. I definitely think he should eye Vasyl Lomachenko. He should go back down and weight smartly, because he did have muscle mass, and we all know what happened to some of the great fighters in the past, or just fighters in general, who, go up in weight, add a lot of muscle mass, and then drop the weight without doing it the proper way. Roy Jones Jr., after he went up to face John Ruiz back in 2003 for a version of the heavyweight title, he dropped back down for Antonio Tarver fight, and you know what happened? He got sparked out, and that hurt me to say, because Roy Jones Jr., my favorite fighter of all time. But it is what it is. So hopefully, a week or two, a month or two or whatnot, he can decompress, go back to the drawing board with his dad and his brother Robert Garcia also. I'm assuming Richard Schaefer, Al Heyman. They could throw some names at him for his first fight back, and then we'll go for a bigger fish. But I don't think he needs to, fight necessarily soon. Maybe November, December. Let himself recover physically, because he did take some punishment against Errol Spence, whether he was knocked out, knocked down, or whatever. He was getting hit by a big guy who can really punch. So he's going to have to take a long, extended break, enjoy the fruits of his labor, and just chill with his family, friends, loved ones. And then when it's time to, get back in the saddle, he links up with his team and comes up with a game plan. Final topic: Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia do great numbers for their first pay-per-view bout. And this is true. Going into this fight, or prior to this fight, neither one of these guys had ever fought on pay-per-view. This fight took place on Fox pay-per-view, and we over here at 3kingsboxing.com, and I'll post a link from the article in the description below, have learned that, the pay-per-view numbers are projected to reach over 350,000 and up potentially up to 400,000. But also when you combine, the 350,000 projected, pay-per-view numbers, with the 47,000 plus people that was in attendance, both fighters will be looking at significant additions to their purses. I think both guys made $3 million for this fight. So considering the pay-per-view buys and the attendance, these guys could make, end up $6, $7, $8 million, and this is excellent. This showed that Errol Spence is a huge draw in the state of Texas, and that Mikey can pull in Mexican fans from all over to support him. Plus, he's fought in the state of Texas, I think 9 times, he said. Most recently, before this fight against Sergey Olympians in San Antonio, he's accustomed to fighting in Houston and San Antonio and now Arlington/Dallas. That, is no thing to him. Plus, those areas, those cities and state have a big Hispanic population, so it's no surprise. But this bodes well for Errol Spence. Hell, even Mikey Garcia moving forward. Depending on a fight with Lomachenko, you can say, look what I did here. Lomachenko have yet to headline a pay-per-view of his own. I'm assuming that is coming pretty soon because, you got to keep up with your potential, adversaries. And, this is important coming into the, the negotiation table. But this bodes well for Errol Spence, who can kind of say to Keith Thurman, look, you might have unified 2 of the 4 titles before I did, but look what I did on pay-per-view. Keith Thurman has yet to headline a pay-per-view of his own. I don't think he's fought on a pay-per-view card. Probably did early in his career, but Keith Thurman is lacking in his hype now since he's been out damn near 2 years, although he's back now. But this bodes well for Spence when it comes to negotiating a deal with Keith Thurman, Terrence Crawford, and Sean Porter. So, congratulations to both of those men banking in, big money, big success in their pay-per-view debut. And I look forward to, more of these fights being on pay-per-view for these 2 guys, because Errol definitely has established himself as a main attraction in the state of Texas. This was his 2nd consecutive fight. He made a mandatory defense, I think it was in July, against Carlos Ocampo, where he knocked him out in 1 round. So he finally got a marquee name on his victory. On his resume, not dissing Kell Brook, but y'all know what it is, man. Mike Garcia is a multi-weight world champion, elite fighter, top 10 pound-for-pound guy, and he made easy work of him. That's going to do it for this video. If you like it, make sure you hit that like button. If you enjoy the content throughout the channel, please hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so you get notified every time I upload content. Drop your comments in the comment section down below, giving me your thoughts on these topics. Remember, the links to Gary Russell versus Kiko, Martinez, and the Errol Spence Mikey Garcia pay-per-view numbers will be down in the description box below, so y'all can check it out. Shout out to the movement and everybody that is moving with us. Be sure to check out 3kingsboxing.com for your latest and greatest updated, unfiltered, and unbiased boxing news and information reported the way it should be. Until next time, I am out. Peace.